Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Okay, so today is chapter 7, ethical and legal. But I think preparing the proper ethical and legal foundation, that is the title of the chapter. So basically some of the things here I already mentioned in your last 2 weeks class, which we are doing the human resource one, but that one is actually based on the application level, and you are not applied to everything. You will be actually doing this before. So but this one is actually like if you have established a very formal legal business. So this is kind of things that you need to include it if you have a real business, a legal formal business later on. Okay, so basically chapter 7, including there are several things that we need to know when we want to actually have an ethical and proper and also legal foundation for a company. So the first one is the ethical culture. Okay, the ethical culture here, this is the first one actually. Okay, this is the first one, and then we will have a lawyer for the second one, and we will have agreement and avoiding legal disputes and having business license or permits, and the last one will be several forms of the organization. Okay, we go to the ethical culture here. So the ethical culture must have a good leadership. Okay, as a founder, you will become the boss of your company. So as a leader, you must have a good example for your employees. So with regards to, like, for example, lying or maybe misconduct or maybe corruption, all that need to be avoided as a good leader. And then you have a code of conduct, or some people say code of ethics. Okay, this one have some sort of values of the organization. For example, no bribery allowed. Sometimes you need to actually made it in the for example, like some company put it as the sign. Some company didn't put it as a sign. Okay, sign means that they put it the code of ethics in front of their front door, but sometimes they do not. They put it in under, I think, within the annual report. But when the employee goes for their training, sometimes they will be briefed by this one. For example, this thing. This is a better team code of ethics. As you can see here, this is a template. Be considerate, be inclusive, be respectful. This is not like rules and regulation. This is more like on the values of the company. So let's see, Google code of ethics. Is there any? Google doesn't call it as the Google code of ethics. They call it as Google code of conduct. So some people wants to call it as conduct. Some people wants to call it ethics. Okay, for example, like this one. Don't be evil. Google's corporate of conduct: do not be evil. One of the company's most famous corporate motto. Okay. So some different company have different way of they doing their conduct and also their code of ethics. Okay. The next one is to implement the ethics training. Some company do ethics training, some company don't. I'm not really sure who actually do the company training program. Who's actually doing it? I think there's some from Coca-Cola company. Then the code of business conduct. Okay, Coca-Cola is one of the company that have a very good ethics training. I think they have ethics training. So this is one is the Coca-Cola company on the I think this is code of conduct, integrity. Okay, protect, be aware why we have a code, who is covered under the code. So as a company, the company can actually do this. And also this is not just like a introduction of values or something, but you can actually do this as a formal legal matters as well. For example, some of the employees do not follow some of the things within the code of ethics. You can actually fire them. Okay, the code of conduct and code of ethics can be formal. Okay, and I think Coca-Cola also have ethics training. So basically, ethics training is talking about how to help the employees to deal with ethical dilemma and how to improve their ethical conduct. And some companies actually will introduce this code of conduct within the ethics training program. So that is ethical culture. Next one is the lawyer. So the lawyer, you must choose your company's lawyer as early as possible, because if you have something going on, for example, you have dispute and something, so you have a lawyer already, and then you can actually have a guidance from the lawyer on the law perspective, a legal perspective. And you also need to have intellectual property. For example, like patents, trademarks, copyright, trade secret. What's more? For example, like your brand. Okay. For example, my brand. If I want to open my Instagram, so you can actually, for example, Entrepreneurship. Okay. This brand, we can actually register it as a patent or something. So nobody can actually take this logo in the future. If they take it, we can actually summon them. Okay, that is intellectual property. With regards to any, for example, like packaging, or maybe the design of your packaging, or maybe you have your music sometimes, your for example, like the tagline, for example, McDonald's or KFC, finger licking good. So all that can be can be registered as intellectual property, or people call it as IP. Okay, that is on lawyer part. The next one is the founders agreement. So I think we already understand this one, but I'm going to explain to you again. So basically, what is founders agreement? It's an agreement, it's an initial agreement for the founders to agree on a certain point on the ownership, on the stocks, or maybe on the I can say the profits that they will receive. So what you need to include within the agreement, okay? Number one is the nature of the business, this one. Number two is, okay, the nature of the business. That is number one. Okay, so number one is nature. Sorry. Number two is the identity of the founders, the identity. This is the identity. For example, what's your name, the IC number, or maybe your citizen membership number. And the third one is the legal form of the business ownership. The legal form can be done on when it comes to capital and all. Okay, so number 4 is the stocks. Stocks mean sometimes a company can have stocks. That one is a big company lah. Okay, they actually come up with stocks, or in Malaysia we call it saham. And some stocks are being owned by the founders and also the other shareholder of the company. Okay. Number 5 is the IP. If let's say they have any intellectual property for anything, for example, patent or maybe brand or logo or something. And number 6 is the profit. Okay. This is the most important thing, how the profit can be we call it, can be given to the founders. Okay. Okay, the last one is the buyback clause. This clause is talking about, for example, the owner already sells something within the company and he or she want to buy again, so the kind of thing. Okay, so for example, this one, I give you a scenario for founders agreement. This is happening previously in my students' business. Okay, for example, some of them actually, for example, you have 5 group members. Okay, this one are doing the marketing, finance, this one is operation, this one is HR, sorry, and this one is what is it? I don't remember. Admin. Okay, admin. Okay. But not all groups have the same way of doing things. Okay. Some groups, when they become agents, they have only one person who actually selling everything, the CEO or the business owner, but the rest is the agents. So the founders agreement is very important because the other 4 are actually doing marketing more than anything. Okay, so the profit, this is a symbol of profit, must be agreed by all on a certain point. Okay, whether they want to share the same profit or not. Okay, same profit or not. And with regards to my experience, this is another scenario. Okay, I'm a person that going to be the sleeping partner. Okay, I have 1, 2, and 3 of my group members. They are doing the business. Okay, I'm putting 70% of the capital within the business, but I'm not doing anything. So I'm just taking around, I don't remember, but it's actually lower than the others, around 20 to 30%. I couldn't remember, but it's actually lower than the others because I'm not doing anything, but the capital I put up quite a lot compared to the others, but they are doing the business. So this is what we agreed together. So the main key with regards to founders agreement is agreement. You must agree to the agreement that you feel is good for all. Okay, don't follow majority. For example, the majority say, okay, we are going to get 60% of profit, you will get 20%. But if the other partner didn't agree with that profitability that he or she will get, he or she can actually drop out from the business. If let's say this is a real scenario of business lah, but if for assignment you cannot say anything, you must agree in some point. Okay. Next one is the avoid legal disputes. Okay, legal disputes means you have a war lah, you have misunderstanding or maybe lack of knowledge of something, okay, that can actually make your business in a war among your partners. Okay, so this is how you can actually, this is the steps that you can actually avoiding this legal dispute. The number one is to meet all the contractual rules. So all founders must meet their contract rules. Once you have founders agreement here, this founders agreement can be contract as well if you put some sort of timing period, for example 2 years founder agreement, then you renew again. Okay, so you need to meet all the contract rules. You need to make sure that your business are running and not make sure that your business is running in enough capital. Make sure it's not running under capitalization, or I call it not enough capital. If not, the business cannot run lah. There's no profit, so nobody wants to run the business anymore. Next is everything must be black and white, or people call it, I call it as everything must be in written, so I call it black and white. So you need to write, so everyone can actually go back to the contract which already been written, and you must have a standard as well. Okay, the standard in terms of maybe morale, standard of doing performance, in terms of performance. So you need to set a standard, and all of this you can actually put within the founders agreement, or maybe you can put it under code of conduct, or maybe rules and regulation, a general rule and regulation for your company. And there are another 2 agreements that you can do under to avoid legal disputes, which is non-disclosure agreement. This one is 5 and this one is 6. So basically on the 5, this one is talking about employee that has been bind with the other party not disclose any secret. Okay, so for example, this is your company, this is a house, but I put it as a company. Okay, so this is your company, so you are the boss, this is the CEO, and you have your employees. Employee name A. So the employee name A work with a supplier called company B. Sorry, company B. Company B. So for example, the employee knows how much price per product, okay, to the company B. So you will have a non-disclosure agreement to bind your your employee A not to disclose anything about the conduct with the company B to public or to other company, maybe competitors or maybe investors. So this is under non-disclosure agreement, this one. Non-compete agreement is to prevent an individual from competing against a former employer for a specific period of time. Okay, non-compete agreement. Okay, this is another scenario. For example, you are working under company B. You are an employee, company B. Then you quit your job at company B. Then you enter company C. Okay, but you still have an agreement with company B. Company B have non-compete agreement. Okay, non-compete agreement with you. Okay, anything, for example, once you quit, you are still bound to this non-compete agreement for maybe 1 year. So anything about company B you cannot say to your new company, or maybe you can't say anything lah to other party. So basically like that. So this is happening in the world of business. When one company snatch other people's employee to actually know their strategy of business. That is normal, So a company should have the non-compete agreement. Okay, next is business license and permit. So basically in Malaysia, the most acknowledged license is called SSM. But there are so many other license, for example, in the local, maybe in the district one. For example, you want to open at Kuala Lumpur. So Kuala Lumpur also have their license, okay, at certain places or something. Or maybe you are opening an apps, mobile app, so you need to have a license, or for example an application, so under MMC of Malaysia. So and it can become federal and also state of Malaysia. Federal, for example, federal of Putrajaya Federal. This one is very small local places, for example at your neighborhood or something. Okay, so that is business license. And the last one is you need to actually choose a form. There are four common legal entities. The first one is sole proprietorship. The second one is partnership, corporation, and LLC. This one need a better explanation. Okay. So with regards to form, with regards to form, there are several things that you need to consider when you want to choose a form. Number one is the cost for setup. Number one is called personal asset. Number 3 is tax. And number 4 is investor. So this is the 4 things that is considered when they want to choose a form. Okay, we'll go to here, this one. Okay, let me show you what is the difference between all these 4. Okay, so proprietorship, or SP I call it. This one only have one owner. The owner, for example, this is the owner, is not separate with its company. What's the meaning of this? For example, if the company if a company bankrupt, is it? Okay, if the company lost and bankrupt, so is the owner. So the owner is not separate from the company. So if let's say the company have a huge loss, so the owner need to pay. And if let's say the company is declared bankrupt, as the owner, also they are declared bankrupt. Okay. Next form is called partnership. This is two or more people. Okay. And then they have two types: general and also limited. Limited liability partnership. I call it LLP. Okay. So general means the ideas, the skills. Okay, for example, we have 3 owners in this general. So they share skills, they share ideas, everything they share together. So this is the advantage of the general partner. And then what is the disadvantage is that all the liability, okay, and also debt will be shared as well. For example, the company have loss of 100k. So this 100k will be divided by 3 owners. Okay, limited partnership. Limited partnership is actually the scenario that I give is actually like this. This is more like this one. This is a limited partnership. Some people have some limitation of their investment, and some of them are not. So, for example, I'll give you another scenario. Okay, you have 3 owners within a company. They actually come up with profit and loss. This one is, for example, 40%. This one is around 30% and around 30%. So whatever loss, for example, 100k loss of the company, okay, of the company will be divided into 40, 30, 30. Same like profit will follow the percentage. How the percentage differ? Sometimes it can be like this lah. Can be like this scenario. I'm a sleeping partner. Okay, my other members are doing the business. I'm not doing anything. Just put the capital and all. Okay, so this is how the limited liability partner can actually form. Okay. The third form is the corporation. They have S and C corporation. S mean the C mean is separate legal identity. Okay, so in most cases, a corporation shield its owner. A corporation governed by board of directors, which is elected by the shareholder. A corporation is formed by filing articles. Okay. All right. So So this one, you have owner and a company, but this one is a separate legal. For example, if this one is bankrupt, the company is bankrupt, okay, no, bankrupt, okay. So this one is not bankrupt. This one got summoned, this one will not get summoned. Or this one gets summoned, this one will not get the summon. So they are separate, okay. But the disadvantage when it comes to C, there are double taxation. Meaning, if let's say the government wants to tax, they will tax the personal, and also the tax will go to the business, to the company. Okay, so this one will be go to personal, this one will be to go to the company tax. So there are double tax. If let's say they are not separate, only one tax, for example, like this one, like the sole proprietorship, tax only one. Another one we call as a subchapter S corporation. This is combination of the advantage of partnership, okay, and also C corporation, partners, and C. So meaning that the income, the profit of this one will not get double tax, okay. At the same time, the partners are separate legal. This is the advantage of being a partnership here, and they are also a separate legal. If let's say the company goes bankrupt, they will not actually have any bankruptcy, the owner. And also, if let's say, but they are actually been taxed once, taxed only once, okay. Okay, the tax here will only been taxed once to only to the personal owners, to the owner only, okay. So this one is quite having a good advantage as well. There is corporation. Another form is called LLC, limited liability company. Okay, so this one is the limited liability advantage of the corporation with the tax advantage of a partnership. So this one, the tax will be given to the owner. And what is actually different between this one and the subchapter S? This one can be taxed to, for example, LLC can actually combine for SP and partnership and S corp or also corporation. Meaning under LLC they can actually have several combination of this joining into LLC, and the tax can be taxed on here, and here on the individual corporation or maybe companies, okay. So the tax basically will be on the shareholder. So I call this this combination, this one, their shareholder, the shareholder. Okay, so I think that's all. Hopefully you understand the scenario of things, and this is the legal and ethical and legal way of doing business in a higher level. Okay, so but I think when it comes to entrepreneurship week, some of them can be used. We can still be used. For example, founders agreement, and maybe in the bigger scenario, for example, like this one, can actually also teach you how to do your founders agreement. And this actually shows that the business environment is not 100% strict and rigid. You can be as flexible as possible with regards to ethical and legal, but try to stick with the best values. You can always go to see how the other big company, for example, like Google or maybe Coca-Cola, how they do it, because ethical and legal is very important in a company to make sure that the management of the companies synchronize, harmony, the business can be done ethically and smoothly. So this is very important as well. So that's all from me. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.